Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Connie coming on today to finally share with you the Frosty Snowman hat, the treat holder. This is the one I had shared on my Facebook page some time ago and got this little tag and this little bird. I just decorated it up. This one is made from a toilet paper holder. I'm not big on recycling them, but that's all I could find. And I'm going to share with you the information how I make these using an SVG file. I believe it's still free. This one is with an SVG file. The only thing I had to cut separate, and I'm just looking at my notes here. It's been a little bit. Yeah, the only thing I cut separate were these circles, and not a big deal. You can cut those either with the die or, with your die or your electronic cutting machine, however. But let's get started here. The file I used was for this one. It's a little bit bigger around, as you can see. I don't know. This one is trying to figure out where I left my up to get up. Excuse me, ruler. This one is approximately 2 inches in diameter. This one is only like 1 3/4. They're both, well, this one, let me see how tall it ended up to be. About 2 inches high. So there's a good amount of room in there. This one, I think I cut it 2 inches also. If you want to do this one, I kept my notes here quick. If you want to do the toilet paper one, I just cut the toilet paper roll at 2 inches. So it'd make 2 of them. I covered the outside with black paper, which was 2 by 6 inches, and I just used a marker to go around the top of the toilet paper roll so it wasn't showing the craft color. And then the inside piece, I did about 1 7/8 inch tall by 6 inches and just glued that on the inside. And that's pretty much it, other than just decorating it however you want. My pieces, my decorative pieces, and I'm not going to decorate one today, but these little the greenery is from a Tim Holtz Christmas greenery die. The poinsettias are from a Heartfelt Creations die. I will tell you the tag I'm using, and oops, sorry, I'm going to end up bumping that again. The tag, and I typed it a little bit different this time, but it is from Cricut Design Space. It's item M as in Mary 405, B as in Bravo, A, and it's cut at 1.75 inches long by 0.875 inches tall, and the font from Cricut Design Space is Frosty Winters. So, and then I just inked it with some vintage photo distress ink. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and of course I'll forget where I put it. Now I'm going to bring in, before I do anything, I'm using the Dreaming Tree mini hat box, and this is what gave me the idea. The hat box itself is quite large, actually, and I just made it quite small. When it comes in, you get this, and I didn't want to have to get into Design Space and wait for that, so that's why this is printed. So all you're going to use on this is the piece that has a T and a B, top and bottom. You won't cut this long strip or this other circle. I'll be doing something different. The other piece you're going to need is this band, and this forms the round part of the hat here, okay? I'll come back to the other one. I'm sorry, I forgot the measurements. So you just cut one of these, and it's going to be 2.122 inches tall by 6.334 inches wide. These little circles, you're going to hide the contour on that. You want to leave those little dashes there so you know where to score it. And get my fingers to work. I'm sorry, they're a little bit cold, like I'm a ghost today. So this piece, when it's grouped, even though you're not going to cut this middle piece and this bottom piece, but when it's grouped, it should be 5.689 inches wide by 3.798 inches tall, and then you'll just hide those two pieces. So you will also need to cut, I cut 3 circles. I've glued 2 together already, and what it'll do is give you a very sturdy bottom piece. These are, I want to say, yeah, 3 inches in diameter, so a 3-inch circle. You will also need one other piece, and I'm not sure, let's see. Okay, yeah, I was going to say my measurements looked odd. There's this long piece of black, and you can cut it either with a paper trimmer or just make the cut on a, your cutting machine. It is cut at 1 15/16 of an inch, so it's just 1/16 of an inch shorter than 2 inches, and then it's 7 inches long. And I took my bone folder on this, and this is the one that we just cut with the paper trimmer. However, I just run my bone folder over it just to get it some curve, so it's easier to get into my little box here. We'll do that later. I also did it with this piece that has little edges on it, and be careful that you don't cut any or tear any of those off. So I burnished that first when they come in. I folded them all forward, and then I was really careful about how I did this. And you also need to burnish this piece on the edge where those little tick marks are, so you can put this together. By the way, before I forget, I believe this is a free file from Dreaming Tree. I'm almost positive it is. As I said, I made the full-size hat band box, and I shared that on my Facebook page, and I've had this idea rolling around in my head for a while before I actually cut that one, and it just was a matter of getting it sized and everything correctly. So now I'm going to, somewhere I have another, well, I'll start with this. I'm going to hold this with my tweezers for just a little bit. I don't want it coming apart when I'm working with it, but I was going to say, I thought I had another little clothespin, but I don't know where it is. What I'm going to do in the meantime is take my 2 3-inch or 3 by 3 inch circles, because then I've already got 2 glued together, and use a different glue here. I do recommend using wet glue. Honestly, it'll give you a lot more strength, especially on the bottom here when you add glue and paper. And then I'm just gluing them together. Trying to be very careful not to bump my camera tripod. So let's see if we can do that. You can just set those aside now. They're done. You will need a wet glue to put the hat band together, this piece. And please note that it's got this wonky part. As you can see, I got mine to pretty much be quite round, and it'll come out. So when you cut your pieces out, if you can't see the I and the T and the B, it's all fine. Don't get me wrong. There are, one of these pieces is, and it won't show on camera, but it is just a hair smaller. You maybe 1/16 of an inch or so, and not all the way around, just part of it. You want to try and get the smaller piece if you can. Okay, take this piece. As you can see, we've got the little tab things up. I'm just going to turn it around. I put I for inside just so I knew. I'm going to put that to the bottom, stick it down in the bottom there, and I'm going to push it up so I get it, you know, I can do it as I go, but I want this to come in and it'll just fit around those tabs. Now, I was just thinking, but you could just put this next biggest circle on, but your inside piece isn't going to stay glued on. So I'm going to do it the way I saw. And it's up to you if you want to take the time and do this or not. But what I do, I'm not sure it's going to show very well, maybe when I get the glue on. Each of these little tabs, I put glue on. I'm going to do them all at once because I want them to glue down. Now what I do is come back and use my bone folder to just make sure that they're fairly glued down, okay? And then you just keep going around. Best to get all of them, and I'm not going to stop the camera, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just trying to get a bunch up that I can do a bunch at once. I want this piece though to come up there. And if your gluing is not perfect on this end, it's not going to show. It's just more a matter of getting it glued down. Okay, and I like trying to find different ways to use files, whether it be paper piecing that I'm making people, or oh, I don't know. I had a Thanksgiving one I was working on, and a card, and it was from Cuddly Cute Designs, and it had an awesome cornucopia, and then the kids, the pilgrims, went on top, you know, and I just took the cornucopia and used that for my card. I enjoy using my SVG files for more than what they're initially intended, just to get, you know, the best value out of things. So, and even though this was free, it works perfectly well. So, okay, I think I just have, yep, one left. And then I'm going to bring my other glue back in. It's just easier to work with. You have this small circle here. I don't know that I'm going to be getting a lot of projects done for Christmas. I'm sorry. I probably will be doing more for Easter, or for Valentine's Day, excuse me. I haven't been feeling really 100%. I never really do, but I mean, I've been fighting a cold, and that can get really serious for me, so I've got a few things I'll share though. So I just took the second piece, the round piece, put it on the bottom here, and glued it on. And then your inside, I know you can't see it, but the inside is also finished. So that's really nice. And now we're going to take this piece, start about where the seam is. I'm going off just a little bit, okay? And I'm just going to, I'm going to line it up at the top as I go, because you put a ribbon or something on here for trim, as I have here, so it's going to cover up that you aren't going all the way to the bottom. And if you do a full 2 inches, you might be too large at the top, so it's best just to do it this way. And I would recommend doing this piece before you put the bottom on, okay? But I am going to use both ATG and liquid glue. Gives me a sturdier hold and gives me some wiggle room. And I apologize that this took so long to get this video up. It's really quite easy to make. It just, like I said, when I'm not feeling 100%, I have a struggle doing videos. So, or for me, 100% anyway, whatever that is. Better than I have, but I have some gift card holders that I'm working on for my great nieces and nephews, and I'm going to try to bring those in when I get most of them done. I'll try to share with you one or two. I'm working kind of upside down. I'm going just past, here's my fold, okay? I'm going to go just past that, maybe quarter, half an inch. And I'm, again, line this up at the top, press it down as you go. Black on black probably was not the smartest color to use in a video, but burnishing it helped, and I'm feeling at the top to make sure that I have it lined up. Let's see, make sure you get any excess off here of the glue. Okay, now what I'm going to do, take a bone folder, go in and just burnish it down all the way around. And I'm going all the way to the bottom over here. Okay. And I don't know how, I don't care to find out, but you pretty much, you might have to shape it a little bit, pretty much have a much rounder top than you did before, right? Now all you have to do, take some glue, and again, if it's not 100% perfect, it's going to be covered up with ribbon. It's not the end of the world. I'm putting 2 glues on this time. One is quicker grabbing than the other. Again, not necessary, but just helps it hold. And I forgot to mention, I apologize, I am using 65-pound weight paper for this. By the time you have 3 layers here glued, 2 layers here glued, plus you have 2 layers for the top and bottom right here, you'd be surprised. It's really quite sturdy. Now, this is maybe the tricky part. I'm eyeballing this. I don't know. I don't really have a I need to get a small ruler, just a 6-inch ruler. I really do. I could probably see better, but what I'm doing, just trying to get it centered somewhat. I'm going to go off camera a minute. I can see better. I'm going to go with that. I'll just leave it. And then I just, to burnish this, it's a good thing since you're using wet glue to let this dry good, even, you know, maybe overnight or at least an hour or 2 just before you start decorating it, so you make sure that it doesn't move on you. But that is it. I will leave you to your crafting. I do want to thank you for joining me, and have an awesome day. Take care.